Good night, chess gold team. Gute Nacht, Ziehen Schach team. Boa noite, equipe Cabra Xadrez. Boa noite, esquadra Capra Scacco. How are you? This is the next lesson, and we are going to talk a little bit about some other words that we need to better understand chess. Also, I tried to change the first draft of the video that I did. It was too long, so I divided in 3 lessons. So this is lesson number 2. We will have lesson number 3 with some more words. Then lesson number 4, we will have the pieces, starting with the piece, starting with the pawns. And lesson 5, we go to the king and so on. So let's start with the first. Let's start with the errata. I made 2 mistakes in the last video. So errata. What was wrong there? First, I mispronounced roque. So this word here is roque, and in English it means rank, and in Portuguese you can say fila, and in Italian you can say fila as well, or riga, but it's much more common to say traversa. And the next mistake, the feld, that in English is square. In Portuguese it is casa, and in Italian I said it was quadrato, but quadrato is just a literal translation from square. It's not used in Italian. It's also casa, that means home. Okay, so let's go to some new words now, and thank you for helping me out with some mistakes. If I make, I will correct in the next video. So how do you say to move? To move is ziehen. That is to move, or in Portuguese mover, or in Italian muovere. And to make a move, einen, machen. This is to make a move. Fazer lance, or oppure fare la mossa. You can also say muovere. Okay, and what is a move? A move is zug, or move, or lance, or mossa. So this is a move. Next, to capture, schlagen. Schlagen is to capture. That is capturar in Portuguese, capturar, and in Italian catturare. Okay, so we have a special case of capture, that is en passant. It's a French expression. Let me show what this means. So en passant, or just EP. You can say Ein Schlag en passant, Ein Schlag en passant, or you can say en passant schlagen, en passant, schlagen. And what en passant means? En passant is something like in Vorbeigehen. Vorbeigehen. Or when passing by. or the passagem. When the pawn was passing by, you capture it al passagio. How this works? What's the meaning of when the pawn was passing by? So suppose I move my pawn here, and I don't know, you move the knight here, I move the pawn here, I attack your knight, but you don't care, you don't attack the knight. Then you move your pawn 2 squares. Remember, the pawn can move 1 square or 2 in the first move, but after that it can only move 1 by 1. But if it chooses to move 2 squares, and by moving 2 squares it passes by, or en passant, it passes by a square that is attacked by another pawn, this white pawn can pretend that the black pawn was actually here, and it can capture like this. It captures putting the pawn here, as if the black pawn was just moved once, and then it captures the pawn. So it's like the pawn was captured when it was passing by and encountered in an attack from the white pawn. That's why it's called passing by. But if I don't capture now, you just move, and if I don't immediately capture, I do something else, and you do something else. Now I cannot capture anymore. I can capture only if I do it immediately after you jump in front of an attacked square by a pawn. Okay, so this is capturing en passant. Okay, let's go to the next option. This is the rochade. What's a rochade? Rochade is castling, the castle, or roque, or arrocco. What is a roque or arrocco? So suppose now it's, I don't know, my turn, I think. Yeah, I move, I don't know, here, you move here, I move here, you move here. Now I removed these 2 pieces that was here, and my king can see the rook. When this happens, I am allowed to rock, to castle, to rochade. To castle, I cannot have pieces here between the king and the rook. We have the short castle and the long castle, or the kingside castle and the queenside castle. To castle, I move the king twice, 2 squares, no matter if I go to the right or to the left side of the board. I will always move just 2 squares. Then I put my king here, and the rook goes over it, and this is the castle. This is the short castle. Okay, if I want to do the long castle, I need to take all these pieces outside so the king can see the rook. So suppose I move this pawn, you decide to castle, you walk 2 squares, and the rook goes over it and stays by its side. Then it's my turn, I move the bishop. Oh, I can take here. It's your turn, you take out your knight. It's my turn, I move the king, the queen. Now the path is clean. It's your turn, suppose you move the bishop. Now I can castle to either side. So suppose I want to castle queenside, my king will walk 2 squares, 1, 2, and the rook will goes over it and stays by its side in the other side. So if you take notes, you have 2 squares empty here after the long castle. While if you look at the short castle, 1, 2, and jump, you have only 1 square. It's almost a perfect box. Okay, so it's said that it's more secure to castle short. So how do you say kingside castle and queenside castle? We actually have this. It is in German you say kurze, Rochade, or kingside castle, or roque pequeno. Pequeno means small, and arroco corto. And you have also the lange rochade. Lange rochade, it is the queenside castle, roque grande, this means big, or arroco lungo. Okay, so from the white's point of view, it is this side and this side. Next, okay, we just saw the castle. Let's see how do you say Schach, check. So if you attack the king, it's not usual to say. You could say Schach. It's the same of the name of the game. So this means check, and also check or scacco. The king is under attack. Okay, so if you give a check, you can say Schach given, Schach given, or beaten, Schach beaten, or you can say to check the king, and dar check, okay, or dare scacco. Okay, but we usually don't say that. You can say if you are writing about a game or something and you want to say that some move goes with check, so you can say mit Schach, or with check, or com check, or con scacco. So it's more useful to write like this. We don't usually say check. We don't want to trouble our adversary by speaking in its turn. Okay, so that's the check. And then there is schachmat, and you probably guess what this means. Schachmat, or for short, just mat. Yeah, it's better to use long capital letters, mat. And you have, this means checkmate, or just mate, checkmate, or just mate. and scacco mato, or just mato. Okay, so this is checkmate. And to deliver a checkmate, you can say Yamaden Schachmat setzen. Let's write this. Whoops. Yamaden Schachmat setzen. Or to give checkmate, or dar checkmate, or dare scacco mato. Okay, so you will prefer the shorter form, just mat, mate, mate, mato. And there is the draw. The game can end in a pat, or draw, or empate, or a pata. Okay, and there are 7 types of draws, but I will talk about just one now. It's called pastelum. Pastelum, or stalemate, also called afogamento. This means someone who draw in the water, and in Italian is stallo. This kind of draw, it's not the game ends, but it's a pat, a draw, not a checkmate. This is also understandable as, for example, a stand off, or a deadlock, something that cannot move anymore. So let's take a look at the board and see what position can have this. Suppose we have a clear board, and we have a king here, and a pawn that is coming up, and it's here, and we want the pawn to promote to a queen or another piece, and black has a king here. Now, oh my god, I need to take my king out of the way of the pawn and put my pawn in the last square so I can win the game. But the king cannot move near the other king, because if I move, the other king would take. So it's not possible to suicide. No matter what piece it has. If you have a rook here, I cannot go in any of this square because the rook would take. So it doesn't matter the piece, you cannot put your king in an attacked square. So the pawn cannot move because I'm here, and I cannot move to here, here, or here because of the black king. The only option for the white is to move here. So suppose white moves. Now it's black's turn. Black wants to take care of these 2 squares because it wants to prevent white to move out. If white can get the king out, the pawn will promote and black will lose. So black wants to draw. So black cannot go here because it misses this square and the white king can move. So black goes here and keeps taking care of these 2 squares. Now white can move the pawn. It cannot move the king here or here. Could move the king back. But if you move the king back, and if the position repeats 3 times, it's another type of draw. But we are not talking about the threefold repetition now. We are talking about the passagem. pastelung, pastelung, or stalemate. So white moves here. No, white move the pawn. Okay. Now the pawn is near the promoting square, and it's black's turn. Black moves here and keeps white king locked. White king cannot move here, and cannot move over its own pawn. And on the other side, the pawn cannot move towards the king. So white has no moves at all. But on the other hand, white king is not under attack. If the white is not under attack, white king is not under attack, and it has no moves, this is the stalemate or a deadlock. Pastelum, afogamento or stall. And that is our last word for today. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we are going to the next lesson in a few days to learn more words, and then we go to the movement of the pawn. So thank you very much. Keep watching, keep learning, you will be successful. Subscribe to the channel if you like, and click the like button, or leave your comments if you see something wrong in the video. I would like your suggestion to make it better. And thank you very much. See you later.